Moi, mon plus grand regret, c'est d'avoir passé une bonne partie de ma jeunesse à écouter des radios comme RFI, France 24. J'ai été dans des pays où ces radios étaient fermées. Mais on prenait des applications, on enregistre leur journal pour écouter. Mais à partir d'un moment, il y a un déclic. Et je commence à comprendre qu'ils conditionnent mon cerveau pour accepter ce qu'eux ils veulent.
Imagine a young soldier walking into the lion's den, reshaping the fate of a nation with nothing but resolve, whispers of rebellion, and a heart full of conviction. From a modest rural town in western Burkina Faso to commanding the nation's highest office, Ibrahim Traoré's story reads like a modern epic. In a continent often defined by aging leaders and broken promises, Traoré burst onto the stage as a new kind of force, youthful, radical, and audacious. He would not merely seize power. He would try to remake the narrative of post-colonial Africa, rejecting old alliances, embracing Pan-African dreams, and daring to challenge the West. This is the story of how a soldier became a symbol, how a man born in 1988 grew into one of Africa's most talked about figures, and how his rise is reshaping the Sahel, for better or worse. Ibrahim Traoré was born on the 14th of March 1988 in Kera in the Bondoukoui commune of Mouhoun province, Burkina Faso. His early life was quiet, rooted in rural struggles and modest means. He attended primary school in his hometown and later moved to Bobo Dioulasso for secondary education, where he was described by peers as quiet, yet very talented. By 2006, he entered the University of Ouagadougou to study geology, science, and earth studies. While a student, he joined the Association of Muslim Students and the Association Nationale des Étudiants du Burkina, ANEB, the latter known for its left-leaning activist orientation. His university years were marked by political awareness and emerging convictions about justice, governance, and African sovereignty. He graduated with honours in geology. Some sources date that to around 2009 or by 2010. Shortly after graduation, Traoré joined the Burkina Faso Armed Forces, entering the military in 2009 or thereabouts. He underwent training at the Georges Namoano Military Academy and also trained abroad, reportedly in Morocco and France. His early postings included anti-terrorism and infantry deployments, particularly in the north of the country where jihadist insurgency had taken root. By 2019, he was deployed to Mali under the UN peacekeeping mission MINUSMA, gaining direct experience in volatile environments. He rose through the ranks, from lieutenant to by 2020, captain. His reputation among soldiers was that of someone who understood frontline challenges, lack of equipment, delay in pay, and dangerous conditions. Some insiders suggest his frustrations with the military bureaucracy and lax political leadership pushed him toward radical ideas of change. In early 2022, the searing reality of Burkina Faso's security crisis weighed heavily. The military regime, led by Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, which came to power in a January 2022 coup, struggled to contain insurgent groups in the northern regions. Many younger officers grew restless. They felt that Damiba had lost direction, failing to keep promises of reform and security. Traoré, among others, attempted internal persuasion, urging Damiba to refocus on military priorities, pay troops, and reassert sovereignty. But when these efforts failed and the insurgency worsened, discontent boiled over. The military was split, trust eroded. Many viewed Damiba as more a political pawn than a resolute leader. It was in that crucible of doubt and crisis that Traoré began plotting the path to power. On the 30th of September 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traoré led a military coup that ousted Damiba and his junta. The operation, organized with support from the Cobra unit, a special forces or counter-terror team, delivered control to Traoré and his allies. Within days, Traoré declared himself interim president, assuming roles as head of state and chief of the armed forces. On the 6th of October 2022, he was officially installed as president of Burkina Faso in a transitional capacity. His ascension made him the youngest head of state in the world at that time, surpassing even Thomas Sankara in youth. Beyond his youth, what set his coup apart was his justification. It was framed not merely as a power grab, but as a corrective to what many saw as Damiba's failure. He pledged to restore dignity, reorganize the state, and refocus on security and sovereignty. Once in power, Traoré moved quickly to reposition Burkina Faso on the international map. He severed or downgraded military ties with France, recalling French troops and signaling a break with colonial influence. He also sought new partnerships, notably with Russia, leading to speculation and criticism about Wagner Group involvement. He became a champion of Pan-Africanism, casting his government as part of a broader revolt against Western control over African destiny. Social media and public rhetoric reinforced that posture. Regionally, Traoré co-founded the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, with Mali and Niger, a military and political grouping meant to resist external pressures and coordinate defense. He also championed resource sovereignty, nationalizing or revising mining codes to assert control over Burkina Faso's natural wealth. By aligning with youth sentiment, anti-imperial discourse, and bold foreign policy moves, Traoré began crafting a symbolic identity. The revolutionary general. But power rarely comes without friction. While Traoré's narrative captured imaginations, his rule faced serious headwinds. Burkina Faso remains mired in an insurgency. Critics argue that violence escalated under his watch. ACLED figures suggest conflict deaths more than doubled post-coup. Much of the country remains outside government control. he also confronted internal dissent. In September 2023, a coup attempt was reported among disaffected military figures, which was thwarted. A second attempted coup was said to occur in January 2024, again unsuccessful. Meanwhile, human rights groups and civil society decry suppression of dissent, restrictions on the press, and harsh measures against critics. Journalists, opposition figures, and activists face arrests or intimidation. In December 2024, his junta fired the interim prime minister and dissolved the government, raising questions about political stability and concentrated executive power. Yet Traoré continues consolidating control. He leverages media, promotes a curated public image, and leans heavily into symbolism. Many see a growing cult of personality, amplified through AI-generated tributes and viral content. Today, Ibrahim Traoré is more than a soldier turned head of state. He is a symbol, polarizing and potent. To his supporters, he is a liberator, a young African leader daring to defy Western dominance and reclaim sovereignty. To critics, he is an authoritarian in military fatigues, masking repression with rhetoric and populism. His image, a red beret, sharp gaze, measured smile, circulates across social media and news outlets. He is compared to Thomas Sankara, invoked as a modern revolutionary. But symbols are fragile. Can he deliver stability, security, and prosperity while holding on to legitimacy? What happens when economic realities bite or insurgent forces encroach deeper? The dark Sahel looms. Traoré's legacy is still being written. Whether he becomes a beacon of Pan-African rebirth or another chapter in the cycle of militarized governance will depend on how he navigates the perilous gap between image and institution.